went to bleeding races, 'twas on the 9th of June, 1862 on a summer's afternoon. I took the bus to Bamberley's and she was heavy laden. Away we went along Collingwood Street, that's on the road to bleeding.
You're watching Toon Army TV. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. I am on the verge of 2,800 subscribers. Less than 20 away now. If you could subscribe, it's free if you enjoy the content, and it would help the channel to grow in 2020, and it would take the channel further than ever before. Also, follow me on social media, Toon Army TV on Instagram and Twitter. All links down below in the description. And just before I jump into the main video, just to say a big up to everybody who was in the live stream on Saturday night just gone. It was a good 5-6 hour live stream talking all things my club, Newcastle United, and the latest news regarding the takeover. For all you guys who participated, talking to me live on camera, and for everybody who put their comments in the live chat, it was a great conversation that we all had, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more live streams coming your way soon, so stay tuned and thank you very much. Now in this video I want to give you my top 5 managers I would like to see manage my club, Newcastle United, if a takeover goes through. As you all know, it's been the talk of football, my club, Newcastle United, being taken over. I mean, it's getting to the point now where it's every single window, if you like, or any quiet period of the last 13 years of Mike Ashley owning my football club. And while nothing has been said in terms of a takeover being blocked or false news, why not be excited and dream and think that one of these 5 managers could take over my club, Newcastle United? Of course, it'll be in order of what I believe will be the correct fitting. So number 1 being the most obvious choice, and then number 5, where I think they've got a very good chance if the other 4 don't come off. Just because the 5th doesn't mean that they are any worse than the ones I've mentioned from number 1 to 4. If you agree or disagree, please let me know your top 5 Newcastle United managers in the comments at the end of this video. And just a note to say, I am not disrespecting Steve Bruce in any way. He is still the Newcastle United head coach on a 3-year contract. 2 years now, as the season is about to come to an end if it gets restarted again. And of course, Mike Ashley is still the owner. There is no concrete news to say that a takeover is going through, that Mike Ashley is selling up, but fingers crossed he does. Now, number 1, I'm going to go with Rafa Benitez. Of course, it was going to be my obvious choice. Rafa Benitez was one of my favourite managers. He got me believing again, even under Mike Ashley. You know, big name, big CV, won trophies, that we could finally start competing with the very best, but how wrong I was. Rafa Benitez managed the club from 2016 right the way through to last season, 2018-19 season, and unfortunately contract talks broke down between himself and Mike Ashley. Mike Ashley didn't share the same ambitions as Rafa Benitez, so Benitez ended up walking away to China and managing Dalian Yifang on a 3-year contract, which has landed us with Steve Bruce. Now, the reason why I go with Rafa Benitez is because, of course, he has the advantage of knowing the fans. The fans really took to Rafa Benitez. Everybody in Newcastle loved Rafa Benitez, not for the fact he played defensive football, just the fact he was a big name and he was something different and he was organised and you could trust him. You know, Rafa Benitez, yes, we got relegated in 2016, but in the Championship, a big name like Rafa Benitez in the 2nd division, I think that was huge to get that organisation back, to get that manager who is going to get the best out of the squad. And we got promoted, you know, out of the Championship under Rafa Benitez, and then we got back into the Premier League for the 2017-18 season. He got us a 10th place finish. You know, wow, how good was that? First season back, a 10th place finish. You couldn't ask for any more. And then last season, we actually finished 13th place, but we actually picked up more points finishing 13th than we did finishing 10th. Rafa wanted some more money to finish potentially this season in the top 7, but unfortunately, because Mike Ashley doesn't want success, Rafa walked away. You can't blame him. A lot of fans will say he left for the money. I don't think he did. He doesn't need the money. He's won trophies, you know, at big clubs like Liverpool, the Champions League, Europa League at Chelsea. He's managed Real Madrid, Napoli. These are big clubs. You know, Rafa Benitez, if he was nothing, then he wouldn't have had these clubs. You know, you don't win things by accident. You win things by being a very good, well-organised manager. And I think if Rafa Benitez was to be given some money, which he should be judged by money in my opinion, then I think Rafa Benitez would definitely get the best out of the current squad. He knows a lot of the current players as well, so there's a huge advantage there. A lot of fans would definitely come back and back Rafa Benitez because they would believe in his project. And yes, he plays defensive football, but there'll be a lot more attack and flair, because when we got promoted back to the Premier League, how could Rafa Benitez attack? Thinking if we were to attack, we could be relegated because we don't really have, you know, the squad quality to really get to where Rafa Benitez really wanted the club to be. You know, we had the Gallagher flags, you know, everybody was connected. Rafa Benitez was connected with the fans and with the community, and that is huge, huge. And I just think Rafa Benitez has got a lot of unfinished business at this football club, and I found it quite sad the way it all fell apart for him and he was just left to rot, and I didn't like that. And I just feel, you know, with these new owners, I believe, you know, with Amanda Staveley, she's got that connection with Rafa Benitez. She wants him back, and that would be, you know, a very good start to a potential new era with new ownership. Now, number 2, I've gone with Mauricio Pochettino, ex-Tottenham Hotspur manager, was sacked in 2019, unfortunately. He done really well, you know, with Tottenham Hotspur. He made his name in management, you know, I think it was over in Spain, and then came into the Premier League with Southampton when Nigel Adkins got sacked. He managed to get Southampton from, you know, the relegation zone into 13th place, I believe, and then the season after he got them into the top 10. Tottenham found out he was a good manager. Tottenham gave him a great chance to really progress in management, and he did that. You know, he was getting them some good top 4 finishes. You know, he got them into the Champions League final against Liverpool last season and was unlucky not to win it. The fact he even got them there was an achievement in itself, you know, given that Tottenham don't spend a lot of money, but Tottenham have got some very good players like Harry Kane, for example, and he really made them into really good players. And Pochettino is one of them managers where he wears his heart on his sleeve. When they beat Ajax in the Amsterdam Arena to get into the Champions League final, he was actually crying because it meant so much to him that he's a young coach and he wants to win trophies. And people can call him the nearly manager, but I believe at Tottenham he should have been given more time. And I think if these new owners were to come in and have a project in place and were to give him some money to try and build the club up, I think he would really take to our fans, because with the experience of Europe, he's got that pedigree there. I think he would really do well at Newcastle. I think, you know, 52,000 stadium, behind the manager, behind the squad. He's passionate. He would bark out instructions, you know, to the players, and he would definitely get the best out of them. And he would definitely want to deliver for Newcastle United. And I think he's got unfinished business in the Premier League. So Pochettino would definitely be my number 2. Number 3, I've actually gone with Eddie Howe from AFC Bournemouth. Now, Eddie Howe is a younger manager. He has taken AFC Bournemouth from League 2 into the Premier League, and he's kept them there for the past 5 years. Bournemouth, you know, a very small club, no disrespect to them. Eddie Howe, when he took over Bournemouth, they had a lot of administration problems, minus 17 points, and he was a young coach with no experience. He had a game to try and save Bournemouth. If he didn't win that game, they would have been relegated to the non-league, and he managed to keep Bournemouth in League 2. Who would have knows what would have happened to Bournemouth if they'd been, you know, relegated to non-league? I don't think you would have seen them into the Premier League. And the fact that he's managed to get them on a fairy tale from League 2 all the way to the Premier League and keep them there for 5 years, they would never have dreamed of that, given all the problems that they had. And it just goes to show any club can do it. And with his experience now, I think he needs that step up. Bournemouth, you know, what more can he do with them? You know, he's kept them in the Premier League for so long. Yes, they're in trouble now, and he's not really a massive name compared to some I've got on this list. But I think Eddie Howe could really do well at Newcastle, a bigger stadium. And I think he's a nice guy as well. I know nice guys don't always win things, but I think he is a footballing guy. I think he has got a ruthless side to him. He does get results, not to forget as well. He knows what he's talking about. He doesn't like to attack as well. He likes to, you know, get teams on the front foot. And I think with a plan from the new owners, if they were to give Eddie Howe some money to try and build to Europa League, I think Eddie Howe could do that. You know, with Bournemouth, they've been finishing mostly mid-table when he's been manager, and obviously this season relegation zone. Not to say they can't stay up this season, but I think Eddie Howe, for me, he could do a lot better. I think he's deserved that. Yes, at Burnley he didn't really do very well, but he went back to Bournemouth and got them straight into, you know, the Premier League. That League 2 promotion, League 1 promotion, Championship promotion, and he stabilised Bournemouth in the Premier League. 12,000 capacity stadium. Listen, small club, they could possibly be going down, but I think Eddie Howe now could definitely do a good job at Newcastle. I think he's one of them where the fans would definitely take to him, because he's not a manager who would make mistakes. I think, yes, he will make the odd mistake, but I think he would definitely get the support of the players. Number 4, I've gone with Max Allegri, ex-Juventus manager. Of course, why not Max Allegri? I know he hasn't got any Premier League experience. He's been out of a job since 2019 after leaving Juventus. They're the biggest club in Italy, in my opinion, and he's managed in some of the biggest games for Juventus in the Champions League against the likes of Real Madrid, managing some of the biggest players in the world, you know, like Dybala, Higuain, you name it, and he's never had that chance in the Premier League, and I think he's been waiting for the right club. He was linked with the likes of Arsenal and Manchester United in the past. Would he be tempted for a move to Newcastle United, another club in black and white? Why not? If the money's there and the owners are willing to splash the cash and they want to win things, if Newcastle United are, you know, on his mind of winning things, if the owners share that ambition, then of course he's going to want to come to our club. You know, we've got a 52,000 stadium. I keep mentioning this. We're a passionate bunch of fans. You know, we just want to see some sort of direction, some movement, getting into Europe. And Allegri, when I've watched the Juventus documentary on Netflix, you can see that he's a passionate guy. He loves football. He demands everything from the players, and he literally just wants to win every game. He will take nothing less, and we love that. You know, as a fan base, we want to see a manager that is keen to win and to win trophies. And will he accept a chance at Newcastle where it's all about building, a bit like what Manchester City had to do when their owners come in? I think he would take it, you know, a move to the Premier League, as long as there's building blocks and there's a right direction of going forward and there's targets to be hit. I think he'd definitely do it, and it would also depend on the funds. But if he was to be given some good funds to get good players in and to get the style of football he wants, why not? I think you'd definitely win a lot of the TOON fans over. And the reason why he's not so high is just for the fact that where we are right now, would he really want to build the club up from mid-table into a sustainable top 6 club? Who knows? It also depends on, you know, the players that we've got right now, what's going to happen with them in their futures. And last but not least, I've actually gone with number 5, Keegan. The reason why he is 5th on the list is because he's 69-year-old. There is a slight chance that he could come back. The King could be back as TOON manager for the third time. Third time lucky, they like to call it. In the 90s, fantastic. Nearly won us the league. Then obviously, nothing. It didn't quite work out under Ashley. Again, didn't work out. He got fobbed off. Players getting, you know, brought in behind his back, and there was no direction, so he left. And he's been saying, you know, I'll never manage Newcastle United until Mike Ashley is gone. 69 now. I mean, he's got 6 years left, I would say, in management if he really wants to come back to Newcastle. If Amanda Staveley and the new owners potentially want him in, he would definitely get bums on seats. He would definitely demand a lot from the players. He's a winner. He's got black and white through his veins, and he wants to win something at Newcastle United. The reason why I think he could do a job is because he's, like I say, he knows what it takes to win something at the football club. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if he is given a job backstage, because he would have that necessary experience of managing Newcastle United, and he would try and direct, you know, Amanda Staveley and the new owners to try and bring long-term success to Newcastle United Football Club. Now, that is the end of this video. If you did enjoy, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Put your top 5 managers down below in the comments. Also, follow my social medias, TOON Army TV. And as I always say, keep it TOON. Cheerio.
Hey,